Hello, I am Evangelist Christopher Irvin. I am so glad that you're here with me today, joining me on PWOF, Pentecostal Warriors of Faith Ministry. Please excuse me and the way that I look, not being shaven. I have been in the hospital now going on 5 days and haven't had a razor to get to shave yet. But I've been sitting here in the hospital and been thinking, and God has been kind of laying some things on my heart and my mind. And I just want to share that with you today. Before I get into the thought, though, today, I would like to take this moment to encourage everyone to hit the subscribe button to PWOF, Pentecostal Warriors of Ministry. And not just that subscribe button, but to hit that share button, because this ministry cannot be spread without you. It's going to take you to help this ministry to go and for these messages to be spread that's on these videos. Also, always hit that like button, hit that comment button, leave us a little comment on the things that you're hearing, and there's a little bell right up there in the corner. Hit it, it'll alert you to new videos being downloaded. I appreciate every one of y'all. The subject today, the thought that I have, is grab a hold of their beard and slay them. I've had this thought before, I've preached it before, and maybe it's come back in my mind of just recently because of what I'm going through being here in the hospital. You know, like I mentioned a little bit ago, us as humans, we have this problem that we tendency want to feed our problems instead of destroying our problems. And as we go to feed our problems, they get bigger and bigger in our lives instead of going away. And here are 3 ways that we feed our problems. 1, we have a sense of dread. We are convinced that life has been mean to us because the cup is always half empty all the time, not part of time, but it's always half empty. Any new evidence that comes up in our lives must be bad. They are always bleak. There is no positive outcome, none whatsoever. Always looking at everything so negative in our lives. 2 is lack of trust. People loses trust in men. There's ways of thinking about the problem is that other people is the reason these things that is so bad in our lives that's happening and going on. Instead of taking a look at our own selves, a lot of times we figure out if when we do take a look at our own selves that it's not other people, a lot of times it's us, and we don't want to recognize that. We don't want to see that. It's easier to blame other people than to blame ourselves for what we're going through. Sometimes we give other people, and we even give the devil himself too much credit. The devil's doing this, the devil's putting me through this. Oh, this person wronged me, this person hurt me. They're why I'm feeling this way. Instead of stop and taking a positive look at our own selves and realize, hey, we're the reason why we're going through what we're going through. We're the one that made the decision that we made to lead us to this place and point where we're at. No hope. They are convinced things are hopeless in their minds. Nothing can change the outcome of any situation. Matthew 10:28 and verse 38 says, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul, body, and hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a feathering, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore, you are of more value than many sparrows. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." There are 4 things that I call 5 R's. Makes us see just how can't get the word out right there, but just how tiny, how insufficient, I almost got it there, didn't I? But how tiny our problems really are in our lives. You know, our problems a lot of times just a minor little thing, but man, we take them and we stretch them out and we make them so huge and so big, you know, and it's just a minor thing. It's a little minor thing, especially to God. The one way we overcome this is and make our problems to seem how they really are, small and tiny, is reading the scriptures. Begin to read the Word of God, things that pertains to God's greatness, things that pertains to His goodness and His mercy and His love. Once we do that, we begin to see just how small these problems that we go through are, that they're not big at all. They're especially not big to God. They're not big to Him at all. It's just a little thing. All He's got to do is speak it to be gone, and it's gone. And all we need to do is put our faith in Him for that to happen. In Isaiah 40:12 it says, "Who have measured the waters in the hollow of His hand, and matted out the heavens with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in His measures, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance." Think about that. Think about that, how great and how big He is. And how small our problems are when we make them so big and we make them so huge. Second one is we reflect on God's creation. I mean, we must just... We look at what God has done, and we look at the creation of God, the world, men. How can you not stand out at night and look at the clouds and see the sky, and see all the stars, and not just see how big God really is in His creations? Take a drive into the mountains and the hills and look at all the beautiful scenery. Take a walk out in the woods and hear all the beautiful birds chirping and all the things that are going on that's around you. It's God's creation and how just big and powerful He is. Once we do that, we begin to realize just how small our problems really are. They're nothing. They're nothing. They're nothing. And we just got to give it to Him. Lay it in His hands. Let Him take care of it all. Instead of us keep feeding our own imagination and our own mind and making the little problems so big. So big. Hebrews 4:13 it says, "Neither is there any creator that is not manifested in the sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of Him with whom we have to do." To whom we have to do. "Neither is there any creature that is not manifested in His sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of Him with whom we have to do." Remember His faithfulness in your life. He's never going to leave us. He's never going to forsake us. He's always going to be faithful. He's always going to be there. You know, yesterday I had my hopes up so much I was going to get to go home and get to be in church this morning. And then I got so discouraged and down when I realized I wasn't going to get to go home. I wasn't going to get to be released and get to be in church and everything. And I then I realized, okay, this might be God's will. It might be God's will just for me not to be out of the hospital yet. There's a reason and purpose why God is still keeping me here. It may be my health. It may be He just sees it's best for me to still be here right now. Hey, there might be somebody going to walk through this door here in a little while, today or tomorrow, that He's going to use me to reach and say something, to plant a seed in their lives, to eventually change their lives. Isaiah 46:9-10 it says, "Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the ends from the beginning, and from the end of time, the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasures. For realize how powerful you really are with God who lives within you. We must realize how powerful we really are with God within us, and overcome the problems, the situations, and the trials that are laying in front of us, to order to see just how small and insignificant, I'm trying to say that word again, and I can't get it out for some reason, but how small and how just it's not even important when it comes to God. All we got to do is just step right on it or step right over it. But we make them so huge and so big, like we can't climb it. We can't jump over it. We can't climb it. We can't knock it down. But when we realize how powerful we are through God, we realize there's nothing that we cannot do. And we realize that there is no problem too big for us to overcome. There's no wall too strong or too powerful for us to knock down that's trying to hold us back. By the power of God that's within us. And David said unto Saul, Thy servant keep his father's sheep. And there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slayed him. The servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he had defiled the armies of the living God. David said, Moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hands of the Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and the Lord be with you. We go right back up here, and we look at this, and it says, And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard. It's time for us to grab a hold of our trials. It's time to grab a hold of our tribulations. It's time to grab a hold of them by their beards and slay them. Put them to death. It's time to realize how big we are in God and how small our problems are, and be like David and grab a hold of that beard and slay them. 5, rejoice and worship the Lord for your victory. We must worship him, and we must glorify him when we grab a hold of the beard and we slay the problem, because it's through him and his strength and his power that he gives us to be able to slay every problem, every situation, every trial that we have already slewn, and every one that we're going to, that we have to face. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice. We overcome and we defeat, and we give Lord all the praise and worship and rejoicing in him, because we have realized just how small every problem and every situation is, that we are strong enough through him, and that we are capable to grab a hold of the beard and slay them. Thank you for joining me here this morning on PWOF, Pentecostal Warriors of Faith Ministry. Like I said earlier, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to leave a comment, and don't forget to hit that little bell button up there, the little bell button. And please don't forget to share it. It cannot go out without you. May God bless you all, and God be with you, and God love you.